This isn't going to be my first time doing comedy, but it might sound like it. I was thinking during Allie's set, I thought, oh, this is good enough. I might just go put my legs through each arm of a sweatshirt and go home. Still get my set. But I'm just going to, it's a short set. So anybody here from Utah? Anybody from Utah? I'm not from Utah. Thank you. So I actually grew up in Central Florida, rural Central Florida. Some of you might know that about me. I know a third of you. So you might know that I didn't grow up in Utah. So you might know that I kind of don't feel like I fit in all the time in Utah. Things are done a little differently where I come from. So, but they're kind of the same, right? Things are different, but they're always kind of the same. So in Florida, or maybe we'll start in Utah. In Utah, the kids in Utah might run through the neighborhood, run through the backyards of the neighborhood cul-de-sac. Be careful not to tread down the neighbor's garden. In Florida, the kids might run through the scrub pine and the palmettos of their dirt road community and try not to run through a web of a big banana spider. In Utah, you might hike one of the many established and sanctioned hiking trails, see some native Utah wildlife. In Florida, you might go on a nature walk or hike through the scrub oak and swampland and perhaps encounter an alligator or a cottonmouth lying in wait. Don't like that. You can kind of see the parallels, right? You see people do things, people do things. It's the same. It's the same everywhere you go, it's the same. But then sometimes they're different too. So we just did some similarities, now let's get to some differences. Some of my friends grew up going to Lake Powell, or Bear Lake, as some of my friends from the farther north land. But I didn't grow up in one of those places. I didn't know those places existed. I grew up launching my john boat into the pond on the property to see alligators or cottonmouths lying in wait. My Utah friends, if you're from Utah or you've lived in Utah a while, you might know that they have this thing called Pioneer Day. That doesn't exist other places. So your friends might gather and watch a Pioneer Day parade. Or if you're from Florida, your friends might gather and watch your dad try to get his truck unstuck out of the river because he tried to drive through it. Thank you very much. Thank you. It really is a satisfying laugh. I'm doing my laugh. It feels really good. Michael's probably the funniest person in this room right now. So it feels good to make him laugh. And so some of my friends, I've spent Christmas at ski resorts, and I never did. Instead, I spent Christmas at my aunt's house, and she's got like $8,000. And I'm not really a pet person. I'm not really a dog person. Which might come as a shock to some people. I'm not a dog person. I don't like them. I think they're kind of a nuisance. You have to feed them and walk them and take them outside to go to the bathroom. And I would rather just do nothing than do any of those things. So I don't really like dogs. I don't really like pets. But as a person, as a human being, I've got like a natural inclination to like take care of stuff, right? So I adopt spiders that live in my house. I live in a basement apartment, and sometimes spiders also live in my basement apartment with me. So there was one. He was living in the window of the door to my apartment, and I thought, oh, this is cool. This is a cool spot to have a spider. I can see him all the time. So I watched him grow up from a teeny little chia seed to like probably about the size of a kernel of corn, right? Maybe a popcorn. It was pretty cool. I would feed him flies, and he would like stray down and wrap them up in his bed. It was pretty fun. Nobody did this? Nobody's ever done this? Maybe it's my roots. I don't know. But I really think the spiders might be the perfect pets, because this is why. I watched him grow up from a chia seed to the size of a kernel of popcorn, and I could just squish him if I wanted. Nobody would ever say anything. He said he gets too big, he gets aggressive, and he scurries around. He tries to like make me move, and I'm just like, no, I'm gonna squish you. So, but you can't do that with dogs or cats or hamsters or anything else. They have laws about this. You can't do that. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to do it. So, but I wasn't always this way. I wasn't always like a curmudgeonly old man. In my old age, I've gotten curmudgeonly. But I used to be a dog person. We grew up with dogs. I used to love dogs. We had this dog. His name was Buddy, and he was a yellow lab. And he looked just like Old Yeller. Has anybody seen Old Yeller? Woo! All right, so some people have. I've tried this joke 2 other times, and only one person had seen Old Yeller. Any of the other times I've tried this joke. So I'm glad that somebody's seen it. So you all know what Old Yeller looks like. He's a yellow dog. You all know the story of Old Yeller, probably. Even if you've never seen the movie. I don't know why you haven't seen the movie. It's been out for like 70 years. But you know what it's about. It's It's about it's a family in Texas in the 1800s. In the mid 1800s, father of this family has gone on a cattle drive, and so he leaves his boys and his wife at home while he goes on this cattle drive. And Travis and Arliss are the names of the little kids. So while the dad is going on his cattle drive, Arliss is doing whatever Arliss does. He was in the mud hole at the time, and he takes possession of a dog, a mutt dog, a Mongol dog, whatever the kind of dog it is. I don't know the breeds, but he gets this dog, and Travis's older brother is like the dog. I feel kinship with Travis. Yeah, but as the story progresses, Travis really grows to like this dog. Maybe some of you know this story. But like I said, I'm not really a dog guy. And so, like, the older I get, the more I like this movie. And, I learned about like the way things work and like how the world works and stuff. What it takes to be a man, these sorts of things you learn as you grow up. And it really is just so wholesome. Probably my favorite part of this whole movie is right at the very end. Raymond doesn't like where this joke is going. Probably my favorite part of the whole movie is right at the very end when Travis learns how to be a man. It's really a coming of age story is all it actually is. Travis, he's learning how to take care of his family, and he's learning how to like be the man of the house, fulfill his responsibilities, and he does have to shoot his dog. So, but that's not why I like this movie. That's not why it's my favorite scene. I'm not a monster. But as a boy, this scene really did affect me. But it doesn't really as much anymore. Probably just because I know what it takes to grow up, right? I understand that Travis he was probably not taking a lot of joy in shooting his dog, right? But he did what he had to do. So I actually do like this movie for that reason. And part of growing up is learning some of these like difficult truths, So I'm unmarried. Perhaps it's because of my distaste for dogs. Perhaps it's because I've never brought a girl in accident whatever the reason. Perhaps it's because I don't have any rippling abs like Elvin. But anyway, I'm unmarried. It's no secret to my family that I'm not married either. So my brother, he likes to call me about this. He talks to me sometimes about it. He called me the other day to shed light on some of these difficult truths. And he thought he was he's breaking ground. It's like, I'm going to let this kid know. He's probably never heard these things before. He doesn't have any other male influences in his life. Nobody older than him talks to him. So he probably just doesn't know what it's like. But the main gist of what he told me is that he said I'm too old. He's like, yeah, no, I get it. Yep. Yeah, I go. He said, you're way too old to be like waiting to feel butterflies on a date. You're well past that. And I said, yeah, I know. I don't really feel much of anything anymore. And that wasn't his point. He wasn't trying to make me feel bad. And he was just being an older brother. This is what brothers do, or older sisters sometimes. I don't have any older sisters, so I don't know if that's true. But yeah, he told me he's like, look, man. And this is how he always starts his conversations with me. He always says, look, man, and then he goes into some tirade. And it's usually like well-intentioned, but poorly delivered. And that's how this one was to him. So anyway, he told me this. He's like, you need to really be living life intentionally. And I said, yeah. Like, he went, no. And I just let him go, and I let him talk. And, I told him, yeah, I don't know if you know this, but I keep spiders as pets. I told my brother this on the phone. I said, I keep spiders as pets. And, yeah, I know I got to live intentionally, and I don't really feel that much anymore. That is why I've started naming the spiders before I squish them. So,